Hello! Today we are going to show you how to replace a motor on an HVH unit. For the replacement, you will need the following tools. You will need a driller, an X die of 1/4, a flush cutter, a crimping tool, a stripper wire, a flat blade screwdriver, and the following material provided by Chromalock. This will be the Loctite, which it is a thread locker, the replacement motor, the hardware provided by the supplier, terminals that will be provided also by Chromalock, and cable ties. We will proceed with the unassembling process. First of all, you need to unscrew the top lid of your HVH unit. Once we do this, we need to remove the frontal panel. You do this by removing and screwing the screws that are from the sides of the panel frontal. And finally, you must do the one that is on the front side. Right now we have removed the frontal panel. Your unit will look like this. And right now we're going to proceed to remove or cut the cable ties that are connected to the motor's cables. You will need the flat screwdriver to do this. Now you will have to proceed to remove the set screw that is on the fan blade. Right now we have the motor, and at this point you don't need to remove the plate venturi that is here. We can pull out the motor just as is by removing the screws that are in the motor. You will need the flat screwdriver to do this, and also you do it by the grips that are on the sides of the motor, like this. this process is going to be on both sides because motor has mounted 2 sets of screws on each side. As you can see, we can pull out the motor easily once we do this. Right now we're going to proceed to replace the replacement motor. First of all, you need to pull out the motor's cables through the connection box orifice from here. It will be the wire, the cables that are black and white. Here are both. Okay? Right now, we need to do the same process that we did to remove the motor, but this time we need to screw the 4 screws of the motor through the grid using the flat blade screwdriver. This will be on both sides also. Here are the two screws on the motor, and we will continue with this with the other side. On the next step, you will need the hardware that is included on each motor, and you will pull out the screw set and the rubber, and you're going to install it on the motor's shaft. Then we're going to proceed to assembly the fan blade. At this point, you will need to use the Loctite provided by Chromalox, and you will put a drop on the top of the motor's shaft. And finally, you're going to install the screw set over the fan blade, scrolling down by hand. In order to adjust it or tighten it, you will need to use the flush cutter. Right now, you're going to pull the motor's cables, black and white, to the length of the contactor. You're going to proceed to cut them. And then you're going to strip down the cables 1/4 using a stripper wire. This will be for both cables. Then we need to install the terminals provided by Chromalox and use the crimping tool to crimp it to the wire or cable. This will be for both cables, black and white. You have to make sure that cables are well crimped, are crimped correctly, and then install it back again on the contactor on T1 and T2. Black wire or cable goes on T1 and white goes on T2. Then you're going to use the cable ties provided by Chromalox to tie up the cables. Then you're going to proceed to cut the excess of cable tie. And now we are going to proceed to install the frontal panel back again. We start with the one in the front, in the middle of the unit. We do this with all the screws on the sides of the unit. And finally, we proceed to close the lid back again. And that's all.